Hi everyone, welcome to the Aesthetic Training Room. So my name is Rachel, this is Dr. Helen.
Hello.
So we are both co-founders of the Aesthetic Training Rooms and the Aesthetic Treatment Rooms. Our background is in dentistry. So Helen is a dentist and I'm a dental therapist. Between us we have around 30 years?
30-ish years between us, not each.
Yeah, experience in the dental sector. So from there, we decided to go into aesthetics. So as we did aesthetics, we did the same as everybody else does. Started off with basic dermal fillers and basic Botox. And then we wanted to expand our treatment portfolio. So one of the things that we were looking at was microneedling. Now, microneedling we found to be quite a bit of a minefield. There are so many devices out there. And there's not really anywhere where you can go for any guidance.
No, nobody really tells you what to look for.
Yeah.
What apart from trying to sell you their device, and their device has got this and it's regulated by this, but you don't really know whether it needs to be regulated. And we know obviously some of the very best devices out there are very expensive, and do you actually need to spend that amount of money on them to make it safe for your customers?
Mm-hmm. And there's not really a lot of people to ask either.
No.
Sometimes if you put on the forums, what's the best device to use? A lot of people will come with suggestions, which is brilliant. But then if you say why, and they say, oh, just because I use it. So it's not really helpful if you don't know what it is that you need to aim to look at. So that's one of the things that we're going to cover for you today. So a brief outline of what microneedling is. Microneedling is basically using sterile needles to penetrate the skin. Now, this is going to do two things. So the first thing is it's going to start your body's healing process. So it's going to stimulate your body to create collagen and elastin, which is going to help with quite a few things. It is also beneficial if you're using a serum. Now, some serums that you use can't actually penetrate through the skin's protective barrier. So what you need to do is, using a microneedling device, you want to create tiny little micro channels into the skin so that the larger particles of the solutions that you're going to be using will penetrate through the skin. So they're basically the two things that you're going to be wanting to do with microneedling. Now, we have been working with our one-need device for about...
maybe a year?
Yeah, it's probably about a year. And we'll love it. We absolutely love it. We have had a couple of microneedling devices in the past, but like I said before, we didn't know what we were looking for. So there's a few things that you want to look for, first of all. So the first one is you need to have a CE mark. Now, basically, a CE mark means that it's safe to use in the UK. If it hasn't got one of those, then you might want to think about changing your device because you're actually in breach of the health and safety regulations. So legally, anything that you're using in your clinic does need to have a CE mark on it. The second thing you want to be looking for is making sure that the machine that you're using has been calibrated. When we first heard about that, neither of us really knew what that was.
What does it mean if it's calibrated? And we both just went, oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we'll look for that. So what it means is, it means that they've done tests on the product. They've made sure that every time that they're doing it, it's got replicable results. So it's always going to be working at the same depth, and it's not going to misfire and shoot out too deep randomly. The reason this is important is because obviously if it hasn't been calibrated, the chances are you're gonna make a mistake. Something's gonna go wrong.
There's more chance that your patient safety is going to be compromised, definitely. Really, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's questionable whether your insurance company will help you in that situation, because they're always going to ask what you used, where you got it from, and if you haven't been working to set standards, then they're probably not going to help. So make sure that your machine has been calibrated.
And check with your insurers as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's always a good one. Like give them a call. They want to make sure that you're safe and working well with your patients as well. So give them a call, explain your situation, say, you know, if I use this, is there a problem? Is there any things that I should be looking for? And they are quite good, aren't
Yeah.
they, giving you advice and, you know, just to try and keep on top of everything.
Yeah, and just make sure that you're always covering yourself and your patient's always going to be safe. So what we've found is with the One Need device, not only are we treating our patients safely, but we've also got effective results as well using the One Need pen. So that is what you need to be looking at for devices. Obviously, One Need, we know that they have both. Now, one other thing that you need to be looking at, because you're going to be using different solutions with the microneedling device, you need to make sure that you've got a sealed unit. So basically what that means is, as the needles are going in and out and you've got the solution there, you need to make sure that it's not going to be going into the machine, because that's going to cause problems with the electrics. It's probably going to rust the components inside, but it's also a massive infection control risk. So you really need to make sure that the unit's sealed as well. So the One Need device is a sealed unit. So who can use this device? Now, if you look at the information that comes with the device itself, it says that anybody can use it with proper training. Now, basically what that means is you need to be qualified in microneedling. So you need to have done an accredited course that qualifies you to perform this treatment.
That makes you insurable. Back to the
Yes.
insurance again.
Back to the insurance, because the last thing you want is to not have insurance.
No.
No one needs that. No one needs that stress in their life. So yes, you need to obviously make sure the device is safe to use, but you also need to know that you're trained to use the device as well. When you're looking at doing any sort of medical treatment, you need to make sure that you're treating your patients safely. So make sure that you've had proper training. Now, to have the microneedling qualification, you need to be either level 3 beauty qualified, or you would need to be medically qualified and then attend an additional course that will an additional accredited course. So you need to make sure that the course that you've had is accredited, and ideally you need to make sure that you've got face-to-face practical training, ideally with the device that you're going to be using, because a lot of insurance companies won't cover you if you haven't had face-to-face training.
They won't accept online only, do they?
No, ours definitely wouldn't have. So you need to make sure that you're following all of those guidelines before you do any treatment. So I'm going to pass you over to Helen, and Helen's going to give you some more information.
So the One Need device, as Rachel's explained, it's a sealed unit, which is excellent. It means that we've got no ingress of fluids into the unit. But what are we using for our treatments? So the cartridges all become individually packaged and sterilised. They've all got their own lot numbers and expiry dates. Again, back to our patient safety. We do keep going on about it, but it's really important.
One nags.
So at least then when we've got we know that they're all individually sealed, and you just need to pick the right one for what you're doing. So they do have a couple of different cartridges. So the two main ones that we use here, they do a micro pricking cartridges and a micro needling cartridges, which is kind of the two main ones you'd probably use. And they're used in two different ways. Both of the cartridges have a design of where the 9 needles are in a flower pattern design. And this means that the design of the cartridge, it spreads the force, which means it's not concentrated in one area. It's spread evenly to make sure that it's distributed properly throughout the skin, and you're not going to get areas that are over treated. The micro pricking cartridges, it's kind of more like soft needling. So the cartridges have the needles set at 0.3 millimeters, so you're not going to be able to use them. Even though the pen itself has got a bevel to adjust the depth, you're not actually going to be able to go any deeper than that. So they're setting up like a little bung, which means that they just can't go any further, which is really good. Again, patient safety. But if that's all you're intending to do, then perfect for that. So they still cause micro trauma to the skin surface, and you're still going to get those micro channels formed. But it's really good for general rejuvenation. So you're going to get, you know, your skin turnover. It also means that because you're getting those micro channels through the epidermal barrier, you get 97% of absorption of any active substances that you put on the skin. So back to what Rachel was saying with your, if you're using a serum alongside that, that 97% of all the active ingredients in that serum are going to be absorbed just through the soft needling, the nano needling, up to 0.3 millimeters. So if the target of your treatment is for absorption of those active ingredients, it's perfect, because that's what we're going to use it for. So things like, you know, where fine lines and wrinkles that aren't particularly deep, but maybe you're treating, you know, very superficial pigmentation, maybe someone just wants a bit of rejuvenation, then this is going to be perfect for that. You're not going to have much bleeding from it either, which means less downtime for the patient and less inflammation, but still very effective and reproducible because we're only working to 0.3 millimeters. So the next cartridge that we use is the microneedling cartridge, and this goes up to the same depth as the pen, up to medical needling depths. Again, on the one need pen, we've got the bevel, which is going to vary our depth, which means that we've got, you know, a variety of different depths you can work to. So the microneedling cartridge is going to cause fibroblast rupture. You're going to get more invasive treatment, more damage from that, which means that you're going to stimulate a far greater response. So, you know, when we've got, I don't want to say when we're over 40, like me.
I'm not yet. I've still got a few weeks.
January. When you're typically over 40s that have got deeper lines, deeper wrinkles, you know, you need to stimulate that bigger response to actually fill out the deeper lines that happen there. It will cause bleeding. You will get more downtime from it. You are going to get more redness from it. But with the fact, again, we've got that flower design on the needles, it spreads loads. It means your results are reproducible. You're going to get more effects. So it increases the sort of transdermal delivery of your active ingredients as well. So it's a little bit more than your 97%. And getting those sort of deeper in, you've got deeper micro channels to get those active ingredients a little bit further down. So it's more for when you're looking for hair regrowth or sort of more dramatic rejuvenation, deeper set hyperpigmentation. That's when you're going to use these deeper devices. They do also do a single needle device, which is more of an advanced treatment for scarring, but you can be very accurate with it. And they do another one called 130 AN, which is you can use for microdermabrasion. So it's got like 130 nanopoints on it, which help sort of for deep stimulation of the epidermis. So it helps with the turnover, cleaning of the skin, and just making everything look a little bit fresher, which can be used alongside peels and things like that as well. So you have got a bit of variation, and again, going back to the safety, all individually sterilised and packaged, so you can make sure that your patient's safe, single use, of course, disposed of in sharps bins after it's been used. It is a very safe machine to use. You know, it's very straightforward. You've got your digital dial where you can change the speed depending on the area that you're working at and how confident that you feel as well. Because I think in the beginning, we're all a little bit wobbly when you try something new, and you want to go at a slower speed because then you've got a bit more time to turn over things. And as you get a bit more advanced, again, you can vary the speed depending on where you're working to. And you've got the bevel, which helps to adjust the depth of the needle without doing anything, you know, too dramatic with it. You just twist the bevel, it's got a little marker on. And that's about it, really. So it's straightforward, it's safe, you know, it does what it needs to do, but you know that the microneedling device it's working to those safe standards. We've got our sealed unit where everything's as it should be. It's CE marked, it's calibrated, your results are going to be reproducible, your patients are kept safe with it, and it doesn't break the bank. You know, this product is on sale from MedFX and Shop Beautiful. Shop Beautiful have a discount code for new customers of
brand new,
which
all
I can never
uppercase.
remember. And it means that you get a discount off it. Rachel and I are also doing a more in-depth webinar towards the end of November on this. And if you keep your eyes peeled, there might be a bigger discount code associated with that as well. So, but we hope this helps. So if you're looking for a new device to upgrade your device, you know, or you're looking for something following your training, this is a really good sort of, it's a good device to use. We find it helpful, and we found actually trying to get information just to give you guidance and stuff is also helpful, even if you look
Definitely,
elsewhere as well. So
definitely.
we hope that you found it helpful, and we hope to see you all soon. Thank you.
Bye.